What's your favorite webcomic? Even though she's done with it, I've always loved Hark, a Vagrant by Kate Beaton. Jokes about history and literature. Very irreverent. Always gets a laugh out of me. One that's still going strong is Nothing Special by Katie Cook on Webtoon. I think she describes it as a yacomic, but I still enjoy it, even though I'm in my late 30s. Modern fantasy featuring a young woman who can see the spirits of dead plants and is constantly followed by the ghost of a radish. It gets weirder. Currently on season 3. And yes, I still read questionable content like everyone else. Edit. QC was already one of the top answers when I wrote this. Just expanding the title, since people keep asking. I keep the Hark, a Vagrant book on my coffee table for when I need a chuckle. I came here to see if anyone mentions Kate Beaton. I used to read her comic all the time in high school/college. I just went and checked and am sad to see it came to an end. I remember going to NYCC like 5 or 6 years ago and going to a webcomic panel and seeing Kate talk. One of my prized possessions is a quick sketch I was able to get her to do for me. I asked her after the panel if she could draw something for me. She responded with "I feel like a deer in the headlights." I was like, cool, draw that. What I go was a 15-second sketch of the fat pony and a car coming at it. I still have it framed in my living room. This thread would be much more interesting if more people explained a bit about the comic and why they like it so much. This happens in every thread like this. I'll usually answer and talk for 3 paragraphs about why I think it is great, and then the other comments are just X is good, and I feel disappointed in the world. God's in his heaven. All is well with the world. Mankind's greatest fear is mankind itself. Do you support instrumentality as well? If you're not reading Pascal Lepus's Willed Lifelink, wildelphacomic.com/comic/1, you absolutely should be. It's about a writer named Oscar Wilde, no relation, who moves from Chicago to a small town called Podunk in Oklahoma, where supernatural things abound. The artwork is stellar, the characters are great, and there's a creeping sense of unease that runs through it without being overpowering, which, given that it's ostensibly a horror comic, is wonderfully balanced. Definitely give it a look. Edit. While we are on the topic, and because this seems to be taking off, I also highly recommend pretty much anything by John Allison. Bobbins, Giant Days, Bad Machinery, Steeple Link, Skirrig Around, com/. They're all great. I've been reading about the inhabitants of Tackleford since I was about 16 or so, and there's this wonderfully rich world that's been built up over literally decades of storytelling. If you want a quick and easy way to dive in, I'd recommend Bad Machinery Link, Skirrig Around, com/badmachinery/r, php, which is about 2 competing groups of young mystery solvers at a grammar school in Yorkshire. It's sort of like the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew crossed with Scooby-Doo, except British and much more focused on the transition from your first day at big school to the cusp of young adulthood. It ran for 8 years, and the story of one of the young detectives is currently continuing in a print comic called Wicked Things Link, cbr.com/Wicked Things John Allison interview / which is only 2 episodes in, but is also a delight. That said, if you read one series you're likely to find crossovers with others, with characters popping up all over the place. The exception is Steeple, which ran for 5 print comic issues and is now webcomic. That's the story of a young curate in the Church of England and an acolyte in the local branch of the Church of Satan who become friends in a mostly sleepy, but also beset by sea monsters town on the south coast of England. The webcomic is great, but the print issues have a bit of a twist in them, and so I'd recommend finding a way to read those first before you jump in. Close bracket. I've been following and supporting that comic for about 4 years now, and I have to say, it's the most regularly updated comic I've ever seen. Pascal does a great job on it, and the storytelling is phenomenal. Easily my favorite. Hyperbole and a half will always have a special place in my heart. IDK Hailey Brosh and I somehow were the exact same brand of weird and feral as children, but we were. You can't have any more chocolate chips until you do the thing. I can though. Ava's Demon. Really underrated. I was really surprised I found it not so long ago. Avastaman. Seconded. And to elaborate for anyone interested, it is the story of a girl, Ava, who lives in a corporate/theocratic space empire. She ends up crash landing on a planet with her bully and then gets possessed by a long dead alien. I'll leave it at that so as not to spoil. It updates a little slowly, but for good reason. Each panel is a beautiful digital painting. She's always been possessed, but it is an excellent webcomic and very long at this moment, but hasn't been updated in quite some time. I really like Webtoon. I really like Cursed Princess Club and True Beauty because they focus on issues with women accepting their appearance. I struggle to like the way I look, and I really like how the characters learn to overcome these feelings, which I hope I can. Let's Play is also quite good cause it focuses on mental health like depression and anxiety and people dealing with those issues. The storyline is great too. I read these series, and Lore Olympus too. I generally don't like romance/slice of life type stuff, but I can't get enough of these for some reason. You should try Freaking Romance. It's a romance story with the underplot of some good ass sci-fi. It was a lot of twists that aren't too cheesy and honestly hooks you really well. Seconding Freaking Romance. The art is beautiful and the plot is tight. Gourmet Hound. It's complete and I just rebinged the whole thing. I was hoping I would see Gourmet Hound on here. My favorite. While I'm sad it's over, I think she ended it perfectly. Some webcomics tend to drag on, and I get impatient waiting for a resolution. Agreed. When it ended it was satisfying. Not sure it counts, but I love Pixie and Brutus comics. I don't know why. They just always entertain me. It's so adorable. And happy. It's in Webtoon now. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.